Cramped seats, smoking on board, and no such thing as a decent in-flight movie, certainly not video on demand. Seasoned business travellers will remember what it was like catching a flight, even business class perhaps, 30 years ago. Today, that experience is just about unrecognisable. So come with me, please, and let's put the clock forward, and let's look at 2050. That's what Airbus is showing us with its new concept cabin, and we can assure you, flying 40 years from now will look very different indeed. If you join me over at the super screen, I'll show you what this is really all about. Now, what Airbus designers are trying to think differently about every part of the plane. They are looking to the year 2050, and by then they're pointing out different areas that might be of more interest or importance or more fuel efficient. They want to change the way the cabin is arranged too. So, the cabin is going to change dramatically. The plane will mould to you. If you want to stay on top of business, you can stay connected. The seats will change. They will mould themselves to your being. It will shape itself to you. And what happens in front can be often movies or work. We are so far in the future, according to Airbus, that this is really out of this world.
If you look at current cabins, you clearly have clear class distinctions. So you have an economy class, you have a business class, and maybe you also have a first class. And the future cabin experience will really be driven by value the passenger needs in a specific context. So you do have an area where it's more functionally orientated, and you have adapting materials, adaptive seat. And in the front end of the cabin, it's more emotional driven. And here it's really about experiencing travel again.
Now, by 2050, Airbus wants views like these to be part of that experience. It's the concept cabin, and the idea is, as you can see, it is transparent. Wherever you're sitting on the plane, you will be able to get a bird's eye view, quite literally up, down, and around. There will also be more space for socialising, whether it's hosting a presentation to colleagues or enjoying a round of golf. The thinking is that once you are in this concept cabin, you'll be able to do pretty much whatever you like. How realistic is any of this? I sat down with the Executive Vice President of Engineering at Airbus, Charles Champion, and I asked him, the wild, the wacky, how far can he go?
It's more a question a bit like concept cars, to have concept planes, really to put together technologies on one side, and constraints, what the guys want to do on the other side, and try to put that together in order to really foster, I would say, ideas and debate around the future of aviation.
So what's the core of the concept that you've come up with?
Well, for the cabin, actually, it's to move out of the classical first class, business class, economy class, and to go more around zones. A smart tech zone, an interactive zone, a bit like a cave we have today, but on board the aircraft, and then a relaxing, vitalizing zone in the front part of the aircraft. And then afterwards, within each zone, you have a level of service that depends on what you're looking for and what the airline is ready to offer you.
I understand that your mission here is to think concept. How realistic is this idea of zones?
Well, I think the technologies are there. Now, actually, how you put them together, it depends a lot what you want to do. But what you see today is that even in business or even in first class, passengers do not want necessarily the same type of product. Some want to be connected all the time, to be able to work efficiently during a 2-3 hours flight. Others really want to relax. Think about the space, look at the stars. And the idea is to come with zones that allow you to go in one direction or another.
The plane is a long metal tube.
Well, I'm not sure it's metal yet. And it probably won't be metal, by the way.
All right, composite. Composite. It's still a tube. Is your thinking stretching, widening, moving, turning, or are you wedded to the long tube?
Well, actually, what we look for is not really a long tube, but more a soda bottle with a wider part at the beginning and a more blending part at the end, so you can actually blend the engines and the wing around the fuselage to be more efficient. And then inside, actually, is to use like bones on birds, you know, a technology with a polymer type of structure where you can actually have a wide open space, which you could actually get transparent just by touching with your hand, so that actually you can open yourself to the sky if you wish to do so, of course. So it's really looking at this type of biomer type of polymer technologies that you could apply 40 years from now. You have got really to think, you know, how will it look like 40 years from now?
40 years from now. Paint a picture for me, please, of a flight from London to New York.
I think a flight from London to New York actually starts where you are, your office, your home, and it has to be seamless. So you have to be recognized along the way. You don't have to go through all these long queues about security. You go to the aircraft, you just touch the aircraft with your hand. Aircraft say you, "Good morning, Richard. This is your seat. Please put your luggage here." Then luggage is taken care of by the aircraft. And then if you want to go into the smart tech zone, because you're a tech guy, or because you're a bit older, you want to go in the relaxing zone, afterwards, you actually have your seat already morphed to your physiology and expecting your needs. And then if you're in a connected world, maybe already it's connected you to your home or whatever your office. And if you're in the relaxing area, maybe you already have your seat analyzing your blood pressure, because you have a rather high blood pressure, and already proposing you to calm you down with a nice drink and maybe some vitamins, and maybe a little bit of acupuncture actually would help you. And that's basically how you intend to travel. It's really to make that travel experience, even for you, Richard.
I can hear viewers at home saying, wonderful, but Charles has left reality. It's going to be rammed packed with seats 40 years from now.
No. Because actually, if you look at what happened, look at 40 years ago. First of all, some people were packed, others not, but many of us couldn't even afford flying. Now we fly everywhere. And what's very interesting, you see new business model emerging. You had the traditional carriers, now you've got the charters, and then the low-cost carriers, which actually you buy a service. So actually, the way the business model of the airline is going to evolve is going to provide a broad range of products. So in some cases, you will be packed, but maybe you will pay a very little amount of money. And in other cases, you will really enjoy the experience.